If you are a parent and a homeowner in California, you'll want to watch this video. In today's video, we're going to talk about Proposition 19. This was a law that was recently passed in February of 2021, which really affects how people can pass along their homes and other real estate to the next generation. So if you're wondering, how does Proposition 19 affect my family? We're going to talk about that. Hi, this is Ellen Cookman. Welcome to my channel. In this channel, we talk all about how to help special needs families set up their estate plans. Estate planning for special needs families is complex, and we try to make it as easy as possible for you. If that information is helpful for you, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you will be notified when new videos come out each week. My law firm has helped hundreds of families navigate the complex process of setting up estate plans. So I'm excited to share all of my knowledge and experience with you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Proposition 19 has really affected a lot of people and not for the better. But before I talk about the detriments, there are some benefits of Proposition 19, mostly for those people who are over age 55. So in California, just a little primer, what happens with property taxes is we have something called Prop 13, which everyone's heard of, where this was passed in the 80s, I believe, where it basically sets your property taxes low and they can't reassess your property tax value more than about 1% a year. So even if your home really increases in value, you're still paying the property taxes that are pretty low from where you bought the house or you made some renovations. Right? So you might have somebody next door to you who just bought their house and they're paying $30,000 a year of property taxes, and you're paying $3,000 a year of property taxes. This is very common in California. It may not be that fair, but this is what we have. Now, what has happened recently is a lot of people have retired in California and they want to downsize. They want to move to another house. All right, so what Prop 19 did to benefit them, for someone who's retired, who's over age 55, actually you don't even need to be retired, just over age 55, you can move to a different house, sell your house, and move to another house of equal or greater value, and you keep your low property tax value, which is really a great benefit, right? And you can do this, I believe, 3 times under Prop 19. We couldn't do this before. Before, if you moved, then you'd have to pay the higher property taxes on the property that you purchased, all right? Now, that's the good news, okay? But how do we pay for it? And just like many other taxes that have been passed recently, this is being paid for by the next generation, by Generation Xers and Millennials, because once somebody inherits a property, they most likely are not going to keep that low property tax value. So let me go back to before Prop 19 was passed, before February of 2021. Here's what you could do, which was really beneficial, okay? If you were a parent, you could leave your residence of any value to your child. They inherit the residence and they inherit the low property tax value that you were paying. There's no reassessment. Also, you can leave up to $1 million of non-residence assessed value to your children and keep the same low property taxes. A wonderful, wonderful benefit of being able to pass along property, and then your child can inherit it, they can rent it out, they can live there, they can choose what they do with it, and continue to pay the low property taxes. Well, that was basically eliminated in February 2021. That's the bad news. All right, so now if a parent leaves a house to the child, their residence, in order for the child to take the low property taxes, they have to actually move in and live in that house themselves, which a lot of children aren't going to do. They've already set up residence somewhere else. They're not going to move into the parent's house, right? And even if they do move in and they make it their own property, they only get the first $1 million of increase in value excluded from reassessment. Anything above that still gets reassessed. So if a parent, which is very common here in Palo Alto area, if somebody bought a house for $100,000 and then it's worth $3 million when they die, true story, a lot of people know these situations. If the kid inherits it, then the first $1 million of the increase in value is excluded, but they're still going to be reassessed for almost $2 million more. So that's like $20,000 more of property taxes that they're going to be paying every year, which is prohibitively expensive. For non-residences, for rental properties, it's even worse. There's no exclusion from reassessment at all. So if you have a rental property or some other business, or there might be exceptions for farmland, but that doesn't happen that much in Silicon Valley. There's not a lot of farmland left, right? No exclusion, everything gets reassessed. Now, guess who really pushed for Prop 19? It was the realtors. Now, there's a lot of realtors out there that I love, but they're the ones who really pushed this because a lot of kids are now going to be selling these properties because they just can't afford to keep them and pay the higher property tax values, which I think is really a shame. Now, we do need to raise money in California, so there is a reason for these reassessments. As we speak, there is a movement to get rid of Prop 19, but as I've seen, it doesn't look like it's going to be successful. So I think we're going to be stuck with this. Now, there are some complex planning steps that you can take to be able to pass your property along to your kids, but those involve joint tenancy, which is very tricky, or limited liability companies, which is also very tricky. So you can reach out to our office or other offices. We can look to see if one of those approaches might work for you, but a lot of times you might be stuck. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news here, but it is very important to understand how this might affect you and how you might want to do your planning moving forward. So now you know more about Proposition 19 and how that might affect California property taxes when a property is inherited here in California. But you may have additional questions about estate planning in general. I've prepared a webinar which talks about the basics of estate planning, and I encourage you to take a look. You can click right down here. Also, be sure to check out this video next, which talks about estate planning terms. What do all those terms mean? I translate those estate planning terms into terms that you can actually understand. So please go to this video, and I'll see you there.